If you're over 60 and you think kissing your partner means just kissing her lips before moving straight to the bedroom, you're missing 3 specific spots on her body that create more arousal, more desire, and more intense connection than anything else you could do. And here's what most men don't know. These 3 spots become even more responsive and powerful after 60, not less, if you know how to stimulate them correctly. I'm Dr. Madison Li, board-certified urologist with over 12 years of experience, and while my specialty is male health, I work extensively with couples on intimacy and sexual function. What I'm about to reveal comes from thousands of conversations with women in long-term relationships about what actually creates intense arousal and desire, especially after decades together. There are 3 specific places on a woman's body that, when kissed and stimulated correctly, trigger profound arousal responses. These aren't the obvious zones. These aren't where most men focus their attention. These are neurologically wired pleasure centers that most men completely ignore, which is why so many couples lose passion after years together. But here's why this matters specifically after 60. Women need more time and more intentional stimulation to become fully aroused. Going straight for obvious areas doesn't work. But when you understand these 3 strategic spots and how to stimulate them, you create arousal that builds naturally, intensely, and leads to the kind of intimate connection most couples think is impossible after decades together. Stay until the end because I'm revealing the exact 3 spots, the precise technique for each, the neurological reason they're so powerful, and how to integrate them into your intimate life to create desire your partner hasn't felt in years. Let me start with a story that illustrates the power of knowing these spots. His name was David. He came to see me at 63 years old, ostensibly about erectile function, but as we talked, the real issue emerged. He and his wife had been married 39 years. Their intimate life had become almost non-existent. When they did try, his wife seemed uninterested, barely responsive. David felt like she didn't desire him anymore. I asked David to describe their typical intimate encounter. He said it was quick. Some kissing on the lips, maybe touching her breasts briefly, then attempting intercourse. The whole thing lasted maybe 5 to 10 minutes. His wife rarely seemed aroused or engaged. I told David, "You're completely missing the spots that would actually arouse her. You're going straight for the obvious zones that don't create the arousal you need." I taught him about the 3 strategic spots and the specific techniques for each. I told him to focus on these spots with no expectation of intercourse, just creating pleasure and connection. 2 months later, David came back and everything had changed. He said his wife had become dramatically more responsive, more engaged, more passionate than she'd been in over a decade. She was initiating intimacy. She was clearly aroused and enjoying herself. Their intimate life had completely transformed. He said, "I had no idea these spots mattered so much. I've been married almost 40 years and I'm just now learning what actually works." That's exactly what I want to teach you today. So let me explain why these 3 specific spots are so powerful and why most men never discover them. The female body has multiple erogenous zones, areas rich with nerve endings that respond to touch and create arousal. But not all erogenous zones are equal. Some are obvious and get plenty of attention. Others are overlooked despite being neurologically more powerful for creating arousal, especially in women over 60. After menopause, hormonal changes affect how different areas respond. Some zones that were highly sensitive in younger years become less responsive. But interestingly, other zones, particularly the 3 I'm about to reveal, often become more responsive and powerful. This is because nerve density increases in certain areas, blood flow patterns change, and psychological associations with these zones intensify with maturity and experience. Additionally, these 3 spots create arousal through anticipation and novelty. When you focus attention on areas your partner isn't used to being stimulated, the surprise and newness amplifies the response. Your partner's brain lights up with attention and arousal because you're doing something different, something intentional, something that shows you're thinking about her pleasure. Now let me reveal the 3 spots and teach you the exact technique for each. Spot number 1. The nape of the neck and the area behind the ears. This region is incredibly rich with nerve endings and is connected to the vagus nerve, which controls the parasympathetic nervous system. When stimulated correctly, this area triggers a full-body relaxation response while simultaneously creating arousal. It's the perfect combination for opening your partner to intimacy. Here's the exact technique. Stand or sit behind your partner or beside her. Gently move her hair aside, exposing the back of her neck. Start by breathing softly on this area. Warm breath on the nape of the neck creates immediate sensation without touch. Then, kiss softly along the nape of her neck, from one side to the other. Use soft, lingering kisses, not quick pecks. Let your lips rest on her skin for a moment with each kiss. Move to the area behind her ears. This is extremely sensitive. Kiss gently behind and just below each ear. Use the tip of your tongue very lightly to trace along the edge where her ear meets her neck. The combination of warmth, moisture, and gentle pressure creates intense sensation. Spend at least 3 to 5 minutes on this area alone. Don't rush. The neck and ears are appetizers, not the main course. You're building arousal slowly. Many women report that extended attention to this area creates full-body tingles and makes them significantly more receptive to further intimacy. Why this works? The nape of the neck has a high concentration of nerve endings and when stimulated, sends signals directly to the brain's pleasure centers. The area behind the ears is connected to nerve pathways that create sensations throughout the body. Warm breath stimulates temperature-sensitive receptors that heighten awareness. The psychological element of having this often ignored area lavished with attention creates a feeling of being desired and cherished. Spot number 2. The inner wrists and the inside of the forearms. This might surprise you, but these areas are extraordinarily sensitive and create a unique type of arousal that's both calming and exciting. The skin here is thin, the nerve endings are dense, and the pulse points allow her to feel the intimacy of your touch on a visceral level. Here's the exact technique. Take your partner's hand gently. Turn her wrist so the inside is facing up. Kiss softly on the pulse point of her wrist. Let your lips rest there for a moment so she can feel your warmth against her pulse. Then kiss slowly up the inside of her forearm, from wrist toward the inside of her elbow. Use soft, warm kisses. At the inside of her elbow, where the arm bends, spend extra time. This spot is particularly sensitive. You can also incorporate light touch. After kissing, use your fingertips to trace very lightly up and down the inside of her forearm. The combination of kissing and light touch creates layered sensations that heighten arousal. Do both arms. Spend 2 to 3 minutes on each. The key is gentleness and attention. This isn't aggressive or rushed. It's worshipful, showing that every part of her body deserves your focus and creates pleasure. Why this works? The inner wrist and forearm are incredibly sensitive due to thin skin and high nerve density. Kissing the pulse point creates an intimate connection as she can literally feel your lips against her heartbeat. This area is also psychologically associated with vulnerability and trust, so when you give it attention, it deepens emotional intimacy alongside physical arousal. The inside of the elbow has touch receptors that create surprisingly intense pleasant sensations when stimulated correctly. Spot number 3. The lower back and the area just above the curve of her hips. This region is powerfully connected to pelvic sensation and arousal. In traditional Chinese medicine, the lower back contains acupressure points directly linked to sexual energy and reproductive organs. Modern neuroscience confirms that stimulation of the lower back activates nerve pathways connected to genital arousal. Here's the exact technique. Have your partner lie on her stomach or stand with her back to you. Place your hands on her lower back, just above her hips. Apply gentle warmth through your palms for a moment. Then begin kissing along her lower back, across the area just above her hips and the very top of her buttocks. Use warm, soft kisses. Let each kiss linger. Use your hands while you kiss. Massage gently as you move across her lower back. The combination of kissing and massage is more powerful than either alone. Pay attention to the dimples on either side of her lower spine, just above her hips. These are particularly sensitive spots. You can also incorporate your breath. After kissing an area, blow softly across the moistened skin. The cooling sensation after the warmth creates a contrast that heightens nerve response. Spend 3 to 5 minutes on this entire area. Many women report that focused attention on the lower back creates arousal that radiates to their pelvic area and makes them significantly more ready for intimate touch in more direct zones. Why this works? The lower back contains nerve pathways that connect to the pelvic region and genitals. Stimulation here indirectly stimulates arousal responses in sexual organs. The area also contains muscles that, when relaxed through touch and massage, reduce tension that often blocks arousal. Psychologically, having this area attended to feels nurturing and caring, which for many women is a prerequisite for sexual desire. The combination of touch, kiss, breath, and massage creates multi-layered sensation that captures full attention. Now let me give you the complete protocol for using these 3 spots to create intense arousal. The sequence matters. Always start with spot 1, the neck and ears. This relaxes your partner and signals that you're focused on her pleasure, not rushing to an outcome. Spend 5 minutes here, minimum. Then move to spot 2, the wrists and forearms. This continues building arousal while showing attentiveness to unexpected areas. Spend 4 to 5 minutes here, doing both arms. Then move to spot 3, the lower back. This creates direct arousal pathways to her pelvic area while keeping the experience full body rather than narrowly focused on genitals. Spend 5 minutes here. That's 15 minutes total of intentional, focused touch and kissing on these 3 spots before you touch any other intimate areas. For most women over 60, this 15-minute investment in these strategic spots will create more arousal than 30 minutes of direct genital touch without proper warm-up. After you've spent this time on these 3 spots, your partner will be significantly more aroused, more receptive, and more engaged in whatever comes next. But here's the key: don't make this a mechanical routine. Vary the sequence sometimes. Spend more time on whichever spot she responds to most. Stay attuned to her responses and adjust. Now let me tell you the critical details that make this effective. Detail 1. Go slowly. Rushing destroys the effect. Each kiss should linger. Each touch should be deliberate. Speed signals that you're trying to get somewhere else. Slowness signals that you're savoring her and this moment. Detail 2. Use warm breath. Before kissing an area, breathe softly on it. After kissing, breathe across the moistened skin. The temperature contrast heightens sensation and awareness. Detail 3. Be fully present. Don't think about what comes next. Don't worry about your performance. Just focus completely on the spot you're stimulating and your partner's response. Presence is arousing. Distraction kills arousal. Detail 4. Pay attention to her responses. If she relaxes into your touch, leans toward you, makes soft sounds, or her breathing deepens, you're doing it right. If she seems tense or unresponsive, slow down further or adjust your technique. Detail 5. Don't make this a prelude every single time. Sometimes, focus on these spots with no expectation of sex. Just pleasure and connection. If every time you touch these spots it leads to pressure for sex, she'll start avoiding your touch. Make it about her pleasure sometimes with no agenda. Detail 6. Communicate. Ask her what feels good. Tell her you want to learn what brings her pleasure. This vulnerability and openness often creates more arousal than perfect technique. Let me share another story. Michael, 66 years old, married 41 years. His wife had told him she just wasn't interested in sex anymore. She loved him but her desire was gone. Michael was hurt and frustrated. He felt rejected. I taught Michael about these 3 spots and emphasized the importance of touch and intimacy that wasn't always leading to sex. He started incorporating these techniques into their daily life. Neck kisses when she was cooking dinner. Taking her hand and kissing her wrist while watching TV, massaging her lower back before bed with no expectation. Within a month, his wife's responsiveness had completely changed. She initiated sex for the first time in over a year. She told Michael she felt desired and cherished in a way she hadn't in a long time. The focus on these spots had awakened desire she thought was permanently gone. Michael told me, "I thought the problem was her. But the problem was I didn't know how to create the conditions for her desire. Now I do." Now let me address common questions and concerns. Question 1. What if my partner is ticklish? Start with firmer pressure, not feather-light touch. Ticklishness is often a response to touch that's too light. Firmer, more intentional touch usually feels pleasurable rather than ticklish. If an area is still too ticklish, skip it and focus on the other spots. Question 2. How often should I do this? Incorporate attention to these spots regularly. Not necessarily the full 15-minute protocol every time, but frequent, brief attention to these areas keeps arousal and connection active in your relationship. Question 3. What if my partner doesn't respond? Give it time. If these spots haven't been stimulated in years or decades, it takes time for her to reconnect with those sensations. Be patient. Keep trying. Most women respond positively once they understand you're focused on their pleasure with no pressure. Question 4. Should I ask permission first? For established intimate partners, verbal permission for each action isn't usually necessary. But reading her body language and being attuned to her responses is critical. If she seems uncomfortable, stop and check in verbally. Question 5. Can I add my own variations? Absolutely. Once you understand the principle, which is that unexpected erogenous zones create powerful arousal when given patient attention, you can explore other areas. Every woman is slightly different. Learn what your specific partner responds to most. Here's what I need you to understand. Sexual intimacy after 60 requires more attention, more time, and more intentionality than it did when you were younger. But when done correctly, it can be more satisfying, more connected, and more pleasurable than anything you experienced in your 20s or 30s. These 3 spots are your tools for creating the arousal and desire that makes intimate connection possible and enjoyable for both partners. They're not difficult. They're not complicated. They just require your attention and willingness to slow down. Here's my challenge to you. Starting this week, incorporate focused attention on these 3 spots into your intimate life. Start with the neck and ears. Add the wrists and forearms. Include the lower back. Spend real time on each. Do this with no expectation beyond creating pleasure and connection. After 30 days, notice what's changed. Your partner's responsiveness. The warmth between you. The frequency and quality of your intimate encounters. Then come back and leave a comment. Share what shifted. If this video gave you specific techniques that could transform your intimate relationship, hit that like button. Share this with men over 60 who want to maintain or rebuild passion with their partner. Subscribe to this channel for honest, practical guidance on intimacy and relationships after 60. I give you real strategies that work. Turn on notifications so you never miss content that could deepen your most important relationship. Comment below, keeping it respectful, and tell me, have you been focusing on these spots, or have you been missing them completely? Share this with any man over 60 in a long-term relationship. This could be the key to rekindling desire and connection. Remember, this is educational content about intimacy in relationships. The approach is based on understanding human physiology and connection. This doesn't replace professional relationship counseling if deeper issues exist. I'm Dr. Madison Li, and I'll leave you with this. The best intimate connections are not created by intensity or frequency. They're created by attention, presence, and understanding what actually creates pleasure and arousal for your partner. Your partner is waiting. Not for perfect performance. Just for your full attention and genuine desire to bring her pleasure. Starting today. See you in the next video.